So I have a half a glass of water. Is it half full or is it half empty? Actually, it's both and it's neither. It's a half a glass of water. It is half full and it is half empty. Pretty profound, yes?
Profound. So what you're saying is there's 3 belief systems, there's not 2, that the glass is half empty. Those people believe that. Those people believe the glass is half full. There's those 2, but there's also the fact that it's just a glass of water.
Yep.
I
Well,
don't get it.
You don't get it.
I don't get it.
So-
It is just a glass of water.
So what's happening in the world today is there are those that absolutely argue for it to be half empty, and there are those who are arguing for it to be absolutely half full. And then there is the argument, the duality, the right and the wrong and the good and bad, and I'm right and you're wrong. But in fact, it's a half a glass of water.
It simply
Is
is,
a half a glass of water.
but people are choosing to argue about it.
Right. But see, this is where this shifting consciousness is, where these 2 earths that we're talking about really are important to everybody who's watching. It's in silliness with a half glass of water. But what's happening is it's the argument that's going on. And the glass is just half empty. But what really is beginning to happen is, how do you want your world? Do you want it to be half empty, or do you want it to be half full? And so those that are arguing half empty are arguing with the half full. And so it's just basically this circular argument. The glass is just half filled. So the piece that I think is really important, and in having this conversation extensively with the archangelics and others, is in a way you got to get over the argument. It's not whether it is or isn't, I'm right, you're wrong. It really is, what do you want? And so this shifting of consciousness, the way it's being set up right now, is all about choosing your reality. And so this aspect of this shift, these waves of light that are coming in, are creating this level of possibility. It's creating this level of permission for you to have whatever you want. And so the piece that I think is important for people to begin to pay attention to more is, what do you want? Stop arguing for what you don't want.
And stop trying to fit it, whatever it is, in your box.
Yeah. And I find in my own reality, I'll listen to people that argue for their position, and I really attempted to hear them. I want to hear you. How can you have such an absurd point of view compared to my right point of view?
Of course.
But in really trying to listen to them, they are as genuine in their half empty or half full as I would be in my half empty or half full. And there's no way I'm going to change that person, and there's no way they're going to change me, whoever the me and you are. So this piece that is really significant, that I think is something very worth paying attention to, and so do the archangelics, is, what do you want? How do you go about creating what you want? And stop giving the attention to the half-empty glass. If your belief is there's a day that's coming of well-being, be the day right now. Be in the well-being right now. Just get out of the argument, because the argument is becoming very destructive. And it's really about this third-dimensional world. It's supporting the argument, the fear, the good, bad, the right, wrong, is the third-dimensional game. It's not whether your belief is correct or incorrect. It's the argument, it's the pushing against, that really is causing so much of the conflict. And so this piece, these waves of light that we talk about often that are kind of unfolding, they're creating this sense of permission. I mean, it's a real simple word, permission, but people don't get permission sometimes. It's like, well, you have permission. Well, but what if it doesn't work? And what if I don't? And we argue for the limitation rather than the opportunity. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Because that half full or half empty is the duality of the third dimension.
Right.
And in order to ascend, we have to get out of that.
Well, let's not even call it ascend. You're right. It's evolve. It's simply, do you want to stay in this push and shove, or do you want to go and drink your half full glass of water? Do you want to go and enjoy the opportunities? So this word permission is very much what's the underpinning of this new level of consciousness. So in the two earths, you're going to have one that is full of the rules and the structures and the push and the shove and the better than and the lesser than. And the other one is the one of co-creation and well-being. We're not used to co-creation and well-being. And so when you're given permission to simply have what you would like to have, the internal nature, the structure of historical me is, I've got to fight for, I've got to argue with, I've got to create a discussion that justifies. And what's beginning to happen is it's simply available.
So a good exercise for those people who have the tools, Mastering Alchemy tools, would to be in your meditation space, ask yourself that question. Where in my space is the energy stuck around non-permission?
Yeah.
And then begin to use the tools to clean that out.
Sure. And just notice, I mean, it's real simple. I want this, and then you don't go for it, or you forget it, or you have an intention and the intention gets lost. Well, why did the intention get lost? I would really like to have this. The underpinning agreements is I can't, you don't deserve, all of those kind of things. So, yeah, your point's really good. So look at what you want and then recognize the why I can't have it is simply a construct of your mind at this point.
That can be cleaned out.
That can be cleaned out. Permission is structured in such a way that allows you to have it. The part we've also talked about on a number of occasions is as you really get into this focused on my side of the rose, present time, happy, everything starts to come to you. So that's a huge shift in this 3D arguing for limitations versus just simply holding your hand out and the apple appears.
And at that point, the glass of water turns into a glass of wine or a glass of orange juice or a cup of coffee or something that you're really wanting.
Okay. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So the point of this one is pay attention because what you want is beginning to be very available. But the reality is notice the arguments. The argument is the stickiness. And in a way, you aren't going to change the one who does or doesn't believe in X. If you believe in X, then manifest it, because that's what this shift is really now all about. So,
good.
Happy apple orange juice glass of wine.